Hey guys, and welcome back to today's NBA pick video play. If you're interested in getting all of our picks for today's action, you can get those over at stumpthespread.com, which is linked down in the video description. Heading into this one, going to be talking about this Eastern Conference afternoon matchup between the Detroit Pistons and the Atlanta Hawks, and give our lean on who we feel has the better edge against the spread. The Pistons coming into this one today as slight favorites, giving 3.5 points. These are the kind of games that Detroit needs to pick up on the road against the lower tier teams in the Eastern Conference if they're going to legitimately make a push into the playoffs and try to improve their overall standing in the Eastern Conference. So Detroit right now on the year, they're at 27-27 overall, and their profile and just expectations of it as a team have gone up significantly ever since they made that trade for Blake Griffin. Of course, Detroit, they had been on a 5-game winning streak that ended in their last outing. However, losing to the Clippers by a final of 95-108. It was actually a pretty competitive game through about 3 quarters, but then the Pistons fell apart there down the stretch in the final frame. This is actually something we haven't been seeing from the Pistons ever since they made that Blake Griffin deal, given the fact that down the stretch of a lot of these competitive games, Detroit has been able to go to Griffin. He's been able to get to the free throw line or get them tough buckets in isolation, and it's just kind of changed the dynamic of this team overall down the stretch in these fourth quarter pressure situations. That's been generally positive. That wasn't the case, however, for Detroit in their last outing. They just had too much ground to gain there in the closing 5 minutes or so, and they just weren't able to get into that mode of basketball where they had been pretty successful prior. But on the year, this Detroit team, they've been more of a defensive-oriented team, 7th in the league in total team defense compared to 24th in scoring average. They have a very slight plus-minus of just 0.1 points on the year. We expect these numbers to get better for Detroit as they work their way through the rest of the regular season. They're a bit more dynamic defensively with Griffin out there. He can play the center spot and get on some of these stretch guys that can shoot three-pointers at the center position or power forward position, where they weren't necessarily having that with Drummond on the court all the time. It just gives them a little bit more versatility if they want to switch things up. That's a positive, of course, for their defense, and also just their toughness and physicality as a defensive unit with guys in the starting lineup like Stanley Johnson, Blake Griffin, and Andre Drummond. You don't get much tougher of a beefy front line than that, and it's just going to be interesting to see how that dynamic evolves for this group over the next couple of months. So offensively, this team, they're still just 24th in the NBA in scoring average, but we have in general seen them have an uptick on the offensive side of the ball with Blake in the lineup. And again, this is another one of those things where we see Detroit being able to continue to improve on, especially without Avery Bradley in the lineup, who had really become just a black hole on the offensive side of the ball for this team. And without him out there on the court, and then bringing in Reggie Bullock, who's just having himself a tremendous year, that's another positive for this offense overall. So today they're heading on the road against the Atlanta Hawks. On the year, this Atlanta team, they're just 17-39 overall. They have been more competitive at home, clearly, than on the road, with 12 of their 17 wins this season coming at home. That's why they get a little bit of respect here today from Vegas, just coming in as slight underdogs. But still, this is a team that's had a tough time finding wins. They came up well short again in their last outing, losing at home to the Cleveland Cavaliers by a final of 107-123. Atlanta, they don't really have strengths on either side of the ball. They're 20th in the league in scoring, 22nd in total team defense, a negative plus-minus of about -4 points. So on a game-to-game average this year, if you encompass every single game, Detroit's been about 4 points better than the Hawks, but also, you have to consider that the Pistons have looked a lot better with Griffin in the lineup, so they're probably even better than this particular spread of points might indicate. So we feel this as being a chance for Detroit to really prove themselves, showing that they can get the job done on the road against a lower-tier Eastern Conference opponent. So we're going to go ahead and take Detroit to get a bounce-back win here today as they go on to cover this manageable 3.5-point spread. If you agree, give the video a thumbs up. If you disagree, give it a thumbs down. Check out all of our picks for today's action over at stumpthespread.com, linked down in the video description, and be sure to click that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Thanks for stopping on in, and we hope to see you guys in future videos. Bye.